written as an Egyptologist. Is that relatively recent, or does that go back a ways?
No, I wrote my first book, We the Black Jews, in my last year of college in 1938, a pamphlet, and that was showing the origin of Judaism in Egypt.
What prompted you to do that?
Because
of your religion?
Partly, but mostly because people in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands look at a black Jew and laugh. And I was trying to show them that Judaism didn't start in Europe. There was no European history when Judaism started. There were no Greeks, no Romans, no Etruscans. Abraham was in Africa, a place called Egypt. Egypt is always in Africa. Moses is born in Africa, and the pages of where Moses, it says the 10 Commandments, Moses didn't get any 10 Commandments at Mount Sinai. And then my father pointed out to me, Moses, it said, was a priest in Egypt. And Daddy showed me, if he was a priest in Egypt, it took 40 years to train a priest. He went into the priesthood at age 7, and he came out at 47. And in the place where he went, the mystery system, they had already been teaching the negative confession, 42 commandments, such as, I have not killed my father or my mother, I have not made like my bushel, I have not spoken ill of the gods, and so, and so. They call it negative confession. You could see them in the tomb of Ramesses VI and other places.
And that's the basis of the 10 Commandments?
Right. And one and only God, Akhenaten, otherwise known as Amenhotep IV, Amenhotep IV, had already taught of a one and only God by the name of Aten. And Amenhotep died before Moses was born, and he was teaching about monotheism, and so on and so on and so on. The Jews talk about the God, the golden cow, the golden calf. And when you go to Africa, or to Egypt and Ethiopia, you see the picture of the golden calf as Goddess Het Heru, the West scholar Hathor, a cow with a disc between her arms, and that was the golden calf that the Jews worshiped, an African woman.
So you got into Egyptology really to answer those who were saying that Egypt was
a European country, and it was this country, because then I found out that Egypt, like all the other places in Africa, North Africa in particular, was as African as Congo is today, or Munamatapa, which they call South Africa now. I find that the first non-African people to come into Egypt were the Hyksos in 1675. And subsequent to the Hyksos, the Assyrians, and the Hyksos in 1655, which were the 13th dynasty. By the way, that was the time when Abraham was born. That was the time when the Jews came, the Hebrews came into Egypt, because Jews is a misnomer. It's only one of the tribes. It's the Hebrew people, the Hebrew tribes, and Judah, the warrior tribe, the tribe of the army, was only one of the many tribes. All right. And then after that came the Assyrian, the Ethiopian was ruling Egypt and the Nile at the time. Then came the Persians from Persia with Cambyses in 525. And subsequently the Greeks in 332, by then with Alexander, the son of Philip of Macedonia. And then in 47 came the Romans with Julius the Caesar, and so on and so on. Those amalgamating armies produced the half caste that you see predominantly, and then finally, of course, the Arabs and others.
All right. Where did you get all this information from, and how do you study?
Well, I then went to Egypt, and I went to do first an examination for myself. I hooked up with a team there that was teaching, but of course, when they make the fire, Egypt used to have the cobras was still common, and the alligator, not the alligator, crocodile was still common. It came back the other day, they found that there's some crocodiles since the dam. Well, the group, I was the only black person, and when they start the fire, they didn't let me come next to them. I was kept 50 feet at least from them, so sometime I was...
What fire? What do you mean?
You had to fire when you're doing the field work in the field. you had a fire to keep the snakes and things away from you in the night. But I didn't get to the fire. I was black. My skin might have rubbed off on somebody. So I kept up, but I didn't care in the sense, don't mean that I like snakes. But I took the chance. Well, I started there and went to the tombs and temples. It is then I found out for sure that African people, black people, were getting a bill of goods. That they were lying to us in the Bible, they were lying to us in the textbooks, they were lying to us everywhere.